A very good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome to this 13th Water Tech Talk, which is being organized by National Water Mission in association with Water Digest. I'm Anupma, the director and editor of Water Digest, and I take pride to be a part of this wonderful initiative of Ministry of Jal Shakti, National Water Mission. Uh, as part of Water TikTok series, there are a lot of training programs, a lot of technical sessions which have been organized, technical talks which have been organized. And today we are here to talk about a very important part, which is global aspect of rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting, which took momentum when even our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, launched the Catch the Rain campaign, which is one of the biggest campaign on World Water Day. And we are happy to have with us Dr. Tanuja Aryanan, who is the CEO, Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. She'll be sharing her insights about global aspect of rainwater harvesting. Welcome, Dr. Tanuja. And we have with us, like always, Shri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Ministry of Jal Shakti, who has taken up the initiative of this Water Tech Talk series after talk series were launched. So, without further ado, I hand it over to Ashok ji and to take this forward. Over to you, Ashok sir, for your opening remarks. No, so we can't hear you.
We are not able to hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now, sir, we can hear you.
Fine. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm in Nizamabad, my district, which I worked earlier. We had a program here, so it is a very unique opportunity to be a part of this Water Tech Talk today. Live from Nizamabad, my old districts, where I worked in somewhere in 2002 period. So welcome everybody. I have here the officers of Nizamabad with me. They will also watching your program. I'll take only 2-3 minutes as introduction, and it will be an introduction for the people here also. Madam, we had.
Again, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this Dr. Tanjaji, we had started this Water Tech Talk as part of the talk series of National Water Mission, because we found that the water talks which we were doing on every third Friday had generated a lot of interest in the world, and we had participants coming from different parts of the world joining in their water talk. Basically, the water talk which we started on 19th on 22nd March of 2019, it was a physical talk where the people, experts from the field of water, experts in the field of the practitioners from the field of water sector used to come and give a talk. So this continued uninterrupted till about March 2020, when the corona struck. We had to postpone the water talk for 2-3 days times, and then we launched onto the digital platform with Anupama's Water Digest supporting us in the form of giving this platform, and that was a very remarkable transformation for us, because when we started this water talk in the digital platform, our reach and the in the form of the geographical reach as well as the number went up very high, from about 200 to 300 to 700 participants in the physical talk. We were started slowly inching towards 10,000, 20,000, 70,000, 2.5 lakh views from different parts of the world, and we were really surprised to see the type of response we got. And then with the success of this water talk, where people from the various sectors of water used to come and talk about the issues of water, we moved on to what we call as the Water Tech Talk, which we started on 9th October 2020. And some of the water texts, we used to have as many as 25 lakh views. Can you beat it? 25 lakh views we could get on one of our water talk. We find that a lot of people are waiting for it, watching for it through our social media platforms, and then we are well received in the world. Now, added to that, we had something called as the dialogue with DMs, where the DMs of various districts used to talk to us. We have done more than 25 talks where about more than 100 DMs have participated. That is the district collectors, the cutting edge of administration, coming and talking to us on various campaigns started on water. So coming specifically to the water Cash the Rain campaign, which was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on 22nd March 2021 during the post-COVID period. This was a very, very unique initiative for probably the largest campaign launched in the world on water conservation. In that campaign, when it was launched, the Honorable Prime Minister addressed more than 2.5 lakh sarpanches. The sarpanches are the cutting edge people of the administration, the lowest elected body in the country. He talked to them through this virtual media and exhorted them to participate in that. We also, Honorable Prime Minister wrote letters to all the sarpanches of the country and requested their participation. And the Cash the Rain campaign had a very simple slogan: cash the rain where it falls, when it falls. Basically, it is a decentralized storage of water. It is a drive to let people store as much rainwater as possible. So today, our Tech Talk is an expert on Dr. Tanuja Aryananda. She is an expert on catching the rain, and she had held various important positions in Sri Lanka and in the World International Forum for rainwater harvesting. So this rainwater harvesting, primarily rainwater harvesting drive in the Cash the Rain campaign has really gone places. As of now, we have done more than 55,000 crore worth of work in the last 4 months in the country, and more than 35 lakh structures have been constructed for harvesting rainwater. And probably as God would have it help us, we had this time copious rainfalls. So our drive to look at Tangar Mukt Bharat. What is Tangar Mukt Bharat is, what used to happen in the country. We used to have heavy rainfalls coming in the monsoon period. Indian rains, as you know, is a spatial and a temporal phenomena, where the rainfall normally happens during the monsoon from June 1st to November end, and then the remaining period we have very lean period. So what used to happen was a lot of rainfall happens in the monsoon period, and with the climate change, the intensity of rainfall had been increasing, and the duration of rainfall period has reduced, which means that a lot of water used to flow at a very short time, which led to less storage of water. Which added to that, the urbanization and the compaction of the ground reduced the permeability of water to the ground, which caused a lot of flooding. So we were left with two major problems. One, of less water during summer because the permeability of water was poor, so we had less water stored in the underground water. And due to exploitation of water for pumping in irrigation and agriculture, a lot of water was pumped out, and not much water is replenished. So here is the case of more water being pumped out. India, from the groundwater, pumps out more water than America, China, and Mexico put together. And we account for almost 25% of drawal of water from the ground. So 250 billion cubic meters of water is drawn out every year from the ground, from the aquifers, and we forget to put it back. So when you draw more water and put less water back, there will be a time when the water table goes down and down and down, and that is what has happened many places in the country. The water table has gone very low, that the requirement of energy for pumping out the water has also gone very huge. This has resulted in crop failures. This has resulted in a crisis for drinking water during summer period. And added to it, as I said, because of the copious rainfall coming and during short period of time and no permeability, this water tend to overflow and create flood. So urban flooding was another major issue which we are facing. Not only urban flooding, even many cities in and the towns in rural areas, we had floods, very, very rampant floods. Cities like Hyderabad, which never had heard of floods in 10 years back, we get really floodings regularly because of the high intensity rainfall. So the solution for this twin problem was catching the rain. That's exactly what the Prime Minister said when he launched the campaign, Catch the Rain, Where It Falls, When It Falls. Um, it is in situ storage of water, and in particularly to be done in the urban areas, so that the issues in urban areas are different from issues in the rural areas. So these two have to be totally viewed differently. What the water in urban areas is used primarily for drinking water purposes, whereas in rural area it is primarily meant for agriculture purposes. The storage of water in urban area is mostly in tanks and with sumps, whereas in rural areas it is in ponds and the traditional water bodies which exist in the villages, the wetlands and the floodlands, etc. However, the strategy remains the same, is to catch the rainwater and store as much as rainwater as possible. So today we have with us Dr. Taneja Aryananda, who is an expert in the rainwater harvesting sector. She's the convener of South Asia Rainwater Harvesting Network and CEO of Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. So this technology advance which we had brought in through the webinars has also helped us to drop in international experts to talk to us. Today, I am very proud that we have people in my district, Nizamabad district, they are also listening to this physically. So it is basically more of a hybrid event here. We have the district administration also present here, and a lot of people through the Facebook attached to this. We had seen her presentation in one of our talk earlier. So the Dr. Tanuja had really showed us very, very unique models of storing rainwater and the science behind it, simple ways of storing water. So I hope that today's water tech talk by Dr. Tanuja Adyananda would be very interesting. She knows the subject very well. She has a very tremendous good domain knowledge, being the Chief Executive Officer or Director of the Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum since its inception in 1996. For almost 25 years, she has been a rain catching person. So I happen to get a moniker Rain Man. So here is the rain woman who catches the rain, and in Sri Lanka, so 20 years is a lot of period, and she would have caught a lot of rain, and water being one of the very critical resources for the industrial development, for the human development. This is very, very important interventions which we have done. So catch the rain is probably the most economical, most efficient, most decentralized form of water storage involving people. PM keeps on telling about making Jal Andolan and Jan Andolan, and this is the only way of inviting people, because if you build dams, it is the engineers and the contractors who make money. If you are making rainwater harvesting structures in every house, it is all the individuals which get in and get participated. And as a true oratory of participatory management, as a true oratory of people's participation in any movement which I do, I feel that this is probably one of the best solution for all the many of the water crises which India is facing. So
Again, sir, sound problem.
Welcome Dr. Tanuja to this talk. As I mentioned, she is a hydrobiologist with a PhD in environmental science from University of Helena, Sri Lanka, and MSc in aquatic resource management from King's College London, BSc honors in applied biology from University of Wales, UK. So she has tremendous domain knowledge, degrees from various international universities, on the connected subject. She's also a member of the Ministerial Committee for Developing Policy and Strategy for Rainwater Harvesting in Sri Lanka in 2005. She is past president of International Rainwater Catchment Systems Association. She was there as president for 2008-2012. So she is the most qualified person to talk on us. Though a bit late, Hindi में बोलता है कि देर आए दुरुस्त आए. We should have had this talk long back because when the season is over, we are talking. But that is all in the government तो हमेशा rain होने after they bolt the stable after the horses are gone out. So rain is almost over, but now we are coming and talking about catching the rain using the technology from Sri Lanka. Nevertheless, I believe that the people who are watching, a lot of them, technical people, would be benefited from your suggestions, your guidance, and I'm sure people are looking forward for a wonderful technical talk from you, and which can help them in designing of the water structures in future. So over to you, Dr. Tanuja, and we are waiting for your presentation and talk whatever you want. Normal, the pattern is 45 minutes, so 1 hour you can talk, and then we have question answer sessions, and then we'll wind up. So over to you, Dr. Tanuja.
Thank you. Namaste and good Ayubowan from Sri Lanka. Thank you, Ms. Sri Ashok Kumar, for that introduction and kind words about my experience. But I'm sure a lot of you have more experience and has hands-on as well. But I will try to do some justice and show some experience from around the world on rainwater harvesting, as well as from Sri Lanka. So I am honored to be invited for this presentation and this talk, and thank you, Mr. Ashok Kumar, as well as the panel members, as well as the water judges for inviting me for this event. So I'll start my presentation straight away. I hope you can see it.
Yes, it's visible.
You can see it. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, right. Thank you. Okay, so my topic is global prospect of rainwater harvesting. So I'm going to talk, as I said, on different aspects around the world about rainwater harvesting. So to begin with, just to show you, I'm sure all of you are familiar with this maps, but just to remind ourselves about 70 years ago, this world situation about the water scarcity situation. And then again, 20 years ago, where more countries are having issues with water availability. 20 years ago, 75% of the world population has low water availability. So water is issue. Still, more than 2 million people live in water stress countries. Average water stress across the board about 11%. 22 countries are about 70% are seriously water stressed. And one country, especially in the UAE and Middle East, has 100% water stress. And still, 800 million people have inadequate access to safe drinking water, which is a basic human right, as you all know. So, as the Honorable Ashok Kumar also mentioned, water plays an important role in economic, health, social, environmental development of a country. Is also for food production as well as for the environment. So we need to make use of this precious resource for sustainable development of the country as for the people. So, as already mentioned, the situation could get worse because of the issues of population growth as well as effects of climate change. Rainwater harvesting, which is not a new thing to Sri Lanka or to India or to the region or to the world. We have been practicing this for many, many centuries. These are few very basic rainwater harvesting systems which I found which is being used around the world. I'm sorry I couldn't get one similar to that from Sri Lanka, India, but I'm sure it's similar thing is available. Initially, I thought this was one of unique way of collecting rainwater harvesting unique to Sri Lanka. So that's why our logo is also depicting the same picture. But later I found that Korea, Japan also similar ways of collecting rainwater has been there. Of course, I cannot mention anything about rainwater harvesting without saying the famous proclamation by the Sri Lankan king, let not even a drop of rainwater go to the sea without benefiting mankind. So this shows the commitment and foresight of our forefathers or our great kings for conserving rainwater in those days, not only for drinking purposes, for agriculture, irrigation, and also for the environment. Of course, dying wisdom, which has been recorded by CSC India, also shows that the old practices, ancient practice of rainwater harvesting existing also in India. And again, this rainwater harvesting has been practiced 5,000 years ago in the Thar Desert in the Indus Valley civilization as well. So just to remind you all. So why the growing interest in rainwater harvesting? So since due to the water stressors, growing water stressors due to human activities, urban development and pollution, we need to revive this technology. So during the last 30 years, there has been revival of the technology on rainwater harvesting. And also, as I mentioned already, the effects of climate change in the rainfall pattern, also mentioned by Mr. Ashok Kumar, and the extreme weather patterns, short periods of high intense rainfall and long periods of no rains, leading to droughts and floods experienced by our region as well as many parts of the world. So we need to plan, protect our water sources, the finite water sources, and practice 3R system: retain, reuse, and recharge. So rainwater harvesting has been practiced throughout the world to recharge the aquifers, to provide soil water conservation, to restore watersheds and improve watersheds, raise ecosystem quality and reproductivity, synergize with agriculture enhancing and for providing food security, to store runoff, which leads to floods and to mitigate floods and other disasters. Decentralized water resource for domestic use, and also to improve urban drainage management. I'll take few of these users benefits and show you around the world what they have used these for. So these are few of the countries which are practicing rainwater harvesting in the new technology. I'm sure there's more, but these are few that I want to talk to you about today. So this rainwater harvesting has been practiced in very arid areas in China, the north part of Brazil, Afghanistan. These are runoff collection tanks which collect on the ground, and not only rain but also snow after the winter that provide water for the households. Then in Africa, in Uganda, smaller tanks for low income households. The northern part of Brazil, we think it's a very wet country, but no, northern part of Brazil is very dry. So in those areas also. And then in China. So I'm going to take some example from China. This is the rainfall in this province is in the this Gansu province is about 300 millimeters of rainfall, annual rainfall. evaporation rate is very high, 1,500 to 2,000 millimeters annually, and they don't have any groundwater or surface water. So, and for many years, they have been experiencing very frequent drought. The government of China brought in a project called 121, which provides one rainwater harvesting tank, one rainwater harvesting catchment area, two storage tanks, and one piece of land for cultivation. This project has bring about supplied drinking water for 1.3 million people, developing irrigated land for a courtyard economy, and yield of the crops they have grown with the collected rainwater has increased by threefold, and the income level has increased by fourfold. So this area has been very low poverty, very high poverty area. So the income level of the households have increased by fourfold. So tremendous improvement. So from this province, 17 more provinces had also adopted rainwater harvesting. So now there's about 5.6 billion tanks total capacity, collecting 1.8 billion cubic meters for drinking supplies, and about 15 million people are depending on the supplementary irrigation of 1.2 million hectare for land. Brazil, as I mentioned, is rainfall is very low again, 400 millimeters. They are in the quest for developing, constructing 1 million rainwater harvesting system. So far, they have got 600,000 rainwater systems constructed for families, households, for community places, community dwellings, as well as for in schools. Then Australia has also, as you know, are frequent by very low rainfall. In some areas, 419 average millimeters of average rainfall. And also they have very frequently droughts, as you know, leading up to forest fires, etc. You would have heard during the recent news. So about 26% of the Australian homes use rainwater, and most of them are in the rural areas. They use rainwater for drinking, and in the southern part of Australia, South Australia, 66% of the people are actually drinking rainwater. Similarly, in New Zealand also, especially in the rural areas, rainwater has been used. About 400,000 rainwater harvesting systems are in operation. Then Africa, there are many countries in Africa which has various different rainwater harvesting systems, from a small, as you saw, a smaller tank, to ponds collecting runoff water, underground systems with covered lids and without lids covering to collect the rainfall. And also this is a calabash tank made out of ferro cement, which has been introduced for households at a very low cost. Then I thought this interesting Wakawa water tower, which actually collects water droplets from the air, rainwater or moisture droplets, which this towers provides drinking water needs of a family or group of families for the day. Average rainfall again very low, about less than 1,000 millimeters annual. Mexico again 1,000 millimeters, but the technology is at least the users are more in the urban areas as well as rural areas, but they have using this in public spaces, underground tanks from a car park. They are collecting the rainwater and using for drinking, toilet flushing purposes. They also have bottled rainwater, Sky HA it's called. So they are collecting rainwater as very pristine quality water and selling it as bottled water as well. So then coming to monsoon countries, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, where the rainfall is more than 1,000 or around 1,200 to 2,000 millimeters annually. Many of the stadiums, which was in sports stadiums, the roof is used to collect. Also, special stadium which and Sumida city, where there is rainwater harvest, collecting rainwater harvesting is a must. They all the new buildings have rainwater collection systems. It started with the city, their city office, where they have a 500 cubic meter rainwater system below ground, and it has reduced the flood. It's reduced the issues with the flood, mitigate the flood, and also it saves water as well. So half the amount of water used for toilet flushing and gardening is used by rainwater. Also, another interesting concept that they practice in Japan is in each of the street corners, they have what is called the registrants, where the roof of the adjoining houses, they collect rainwater from that, and it is stored in an underground tank. And this place is used as a small park for children to play on. And also the water that is collected is used for in emergency situation. As you know, Japan has very frequent earthquakes, and when the earthquake happens, one of the main things that goes off along with electricity is your water supply, because all the water supply lines are laid underground. So they break, and then there's the water supply is cut off to many other houses. So in these circumstances, these rainwater systems are being used to supply water at an emergency for household as well as for maybe even firefighting in some places. And there in Japan also they use rainwater. I mean, many of our things, many of we don't go out rainwater as something to enjoy. They have rainwater chains, they have rainwater ponds. During the winter, these ponds get frozen. That adds different landscape to the household. During the summer, the ponds creates biodiversity and creates nice atmosphere the household, and also cools the household. So this is the concept is to enjoy rain by these different architectures. Okay, this is another example, Star City in Korea, or sponge cities they call. Initially in Seoul, where they had constructed some towers, and this is it was constructed in a very high flooding area. Initially, they were not given permission to construct this building, but later, when they showed that most of the water that comes to that area will be collected through about 1,000 cubic meter, 3 tanks of 1,000 cubic meter buried underground, which harvest about 60% of the rainwater that falls onto that premises. Annually, these tanks collect about 40,000 cubic meters of rainwater, which saves them about $80,000 per year on water bills. And this also saves on energy, because as you know, most of us get pipe water, which is pumped from a long distance, causing a lot of energy, usage of energy. So by having a rainwater system within their own premises, you only have to pump to the top of a building and to below. So the pumping cost is reduced and also the treatment cost. So here's 3 tanks which is being used to control floods. The one tank is being kept empty. When they hear upstream, there is a rainfall from the mountainous area, which will reach down to the city. They get a message saying that it's raining upstream. So what they do is they empty the rainwater tanks, storage tank, to collect that water that is coming up from the rain and also to prevent the floods. They keep the one tank full all the time for emergency use, case of fires, etc. That is being used, and the one tank is being used for gardening, flushing toilet, and cleaning purposes as well. So thus saving precious treated water for other uses, drinking water needs. Here in Sri Lanka, we have about 45,000 domestic rainwater harvesting system dotted around the country. The ones, if you can see them, the ones in the blue are what is being constructed by Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum, my organization, and ones in green are constructed by other organizations, including the government and other international and national organizations. We have been using rainwater harvest system for domestic purposes in households, in rural areas, dry zone areas, mostly, as well as wet zone areas, especially after the tsunami, where many of the around the coast, where many of the water supply systems in the households were damaged. We installed about 3,000 rainwater harvesting system around the eastern and southern coastal lines of Sri Lanka, because these people were recently back in their homes without water supply, so that rainwater system provide the water supply for those households. We have installed rainwater systems also in the northern province, where people were returning back after the civil war we had for 30 years. So about 1,000 to 1,500 rainwater systems have been installed in those areas as well, where they are using for domestic drinking water needs as well as for the home gardening needs of the household. We have installed rainwater systems in the rural hospitals. We find that beautiful hospitals have been constructed, but without any water supply. So this is a much needed facility that they needed. So we have installed that. In as well as in these are recharging systems also in hospitals. We have installed, that's the groundwater recharging systems directly from the roof through to the well. We have installed rainwater harvesting systems in farms, in plantations. There's a runoff tanks, which has been used in small farmlands as well as in the plantation sector as well, tea, rubber, and also other cash crop plantations as well. As well as we are focusing mostly with the children. We have installed about more than 200 rainwater harvest systems across the country, for the children to learn from it. We have installed weather stations in these schools, so they are aware about the weather and changes in the climate, and also to educate them on conserving rainwater. So not only in the rural areas, there are also in urban areas, there are few buildings that are incorporating rainwater systems in residential buildings, in companies. This is a information technology company, famous one, MIT. They have a very good rainwater harvest system, and also some of our industries, mass apparel industry, they using 50% of their water that they are using is through rainwater, and also our banking sector, few banks are installing rainwater harvesting systems in their premises. From Sri Lanka to the temperate climates in Germany, UK, rainwater harvesting is systems and the products are more commercialized. They have various companies who are providing systems which you can buy off the shelf, or the companies will come and install rainwater harvesting system. At household level, maybe not in Germany for drinking purposes, but for all other uses like toilet flushing, laundry, etc. Because Germany actually they charge you twice for water. One is for bringing water in, what you use, and another meter for the runoff or what you send it through the sewage lines. So there are 2 meters. So reduce that. Many people are using this rainwater harvesting system as well. And then also for groundwater recharging as stores the solution, the rainwater that goes from the roof as well as the runoff is collected in ponds and also to increase the groundwater table as well. They also use rainwater for landscape architecture to make it more livable environment as well. This is another example, urban lake from Potsdamer Plaza in Berlin, where the local government has said only 1% of the water that falls onto the buildings, there are I think 13 buildings around this location, can be discharged into the sewers. So in order to collect, to reduce that to 1%, they have they are collecting rainwater in series of these lakes as well as storage tanks placed within the building as well. So they have been very strict in sort of promoting reduction of stormwater as well in this in Germany. Then Singapore, as you know, Singapore was bringing water from their neighbors, but as a long-term solution, now they have constructed their water drainage network, and they are collecting all the rainwater, surface water into series of ponds. This has reduced their flooding areas by 98% and also has provided water supply. So the water that is collected is treated intensively, I must say, and is sold as new water, drinking water to the public. And also the architecture has also the architects has improved the technology by bringing in new ideas. So this is an example I'm showing you where that is not only collecting the roof water, but also is collecting water which falls onto the facade of the sides of the building as well. So this is another new concept that collects more water for or increase the surface area of the water collection. Then this is another interesting development which is used in the Amazon, and it's again back in Brazil, where, as you know, it is prone for forest fires during the summer months. So these towers will collect rainwater within the tower itself during the rainy season. And when there's a fire and the smoke triggers it, the rainwater is spread out to douse the fire. So this is another innovative way of using rainwater for different use. Then the enabling environment or the policy behind. I think you can see one of our former ministers of water he also attended this conference, which was in 2007, and 4 other SAARC country ministers attended it. They signed a declaration to promote rainwater harvesting within their countries in 2007. And year following that, the SAARC summit, which was held in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, the ministers who attended there, or prime ministers who attended there, also signed a declaration which included saying that to combat water scarcity within the region in the future, they should consider rainwater harvesting technologies and also develop rainwater harvesting technology to reduce water scarcity within the region as well. Sri Lanka, I'm proud to say, has the first national rainwater harvesting policy, which was approved by the government in 2007 in June. And regulation follows, especially in urban and municipality areas, that rainwater harvesting is mandatory in buildings, newly constructed building above a certain roof area. So similar regulations are there in 10 other countries, including India and many few states of India as well. So we need to increase this to many other countries, and also not only the regulation and the policy, but also implementing, which is also very important thing to adopt rainwater harvesting for future development. So world is on the quest for having universal access to water for all by 2025. This is a picture in 2017 where 71% of the population in the world has pipe water premises, pipe water at their own premises. Another 19% has improved water supply. About 11% don't have improved water at their access to improving water. And this is the same thing for Central and Southern Asia, this part of the world. Numbers are a little less, and what is not covered also which is less. But how do we meet this challenge of serving the unreached population? Because so far we have tried many water supply projects, but it's the last bit that is needs, and also last bit is that is very difficult to reach. So one of the thing is to promote water saving practices, because most of us, especially in the South Asian part, we waste a lot of water, so we can reduce that. Then there are advanced technologies that is available, like desalination, pumping, diverting water from one base to the other. Those are advanced technologies, but it has a cost, and also some others like transposing water from remote places using bowsers or tankers. They all has a cost, not only economic cost, but also environmental cost. But rainwater harvesting is very simple, low cost, and can be practiced by even at very low level, at household, community, local area, and country as well. So here's a picture of increasing rainwater harvest, domestic use of rainwater harvesting for drinking purposes since 1990. So you can see increasing trend of uses of rainwater up till 2020. So picture is good, and we need to keep increasing this to reach the unreached people for drinking purposes. The next question I'm sure you will be asking me is, how good is rainwater? Rainwater actually is the most cleanest water supply we have. It goes to the sky, it comes down from the sky. but the way we collect, how we collect, where we collect can add some contamination into the water. So when you compare rainwater with other water sources, this is how it goes. Pipe water supply 188% has no zero detectable E. coli. Rainwater about 70, coming close. Second best in the bacterial level. But this can be improved with good practices, especially, and also treatment, small scale treatment at household level, even by simply boiling the water, this eliminate any bacterial contamination. So, okay. So to complete, finish, sorry if I'm running out of time or too early. Anyway, so to achieve the Sdg goals through rainwater, we can meet 7 of the 17 Sdg goals directly through rainwater harvesting. One is to provide water supply and sanitation to at household level to meet the SDGs by to provide universal coverage of water. Then to gender equality, reduce the burden of women collecting water. As you know, it's the women who are involved in collecting water, especially in the rural areas. Some have to go many distances, collect water, and face many hazards when they go out to collect water as well. So this can be reduced by having water in their own premises with rainwater, and this will release them to engage in economic activities, social activities, or as well as tending to their children education and health, nutrition as well. Then, as we discussed earlier, it is also a climate adaptation strategy for drought and floods. So climate action, SDG 13 can be reduced. It is also for health benefit, can reduce health problems due to drinking contaminated water. In some of our countries, we have problems with drinking arsenic contaminated water or fluoride contaminated water. Here in Sri Lanka, we have in some areas where chronic kidney problems of unknown etiology has been reported, and it has been related to drinking bad quality water, although it's not been proven yet. But people who has more prevalent, this disease is more prevalent in people who use groundwater systems. This could be due to overuse of agriculture products, etc. as well. Then we can use increase rainwater for increasing groundwater recharging and reduce runoff for agriculture and soil water moisture. So that is for food production. This can be used. Then for life on land, number 15, to enhance biodiversity. You can use rainwater storage and collection, and also for the urban sustainability. Urban areas reduce expenditure on water and also energy and control floods, as we discussed earlier. Okay, so I was introduced as a conveyor of the SARNet, South Asia Rainwater Harvesting Network, which we started last year with the South Asian countries, and we have had several webinars and launches, website launch. You can get more information from this website, www.sarainwater.org. This is a network of professionals, practitioners, researchers who to share experience on rainwater harvesting within the region. So I invite all of you to join this network. You can simply go to this website and join as a member to continue sharing the experience and ideas on rainwater harvesting. So thank you for listening. I will love sorry, I will answer any questions you might have. As well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. Ashok sir, would you like to say anything? Okay, so I think maybe some audio issue. So I would like to take up certain questions which have come through Facebook Live, as I told you, ma'am, that we are live through Facebook and social media. So there are a few questions which have come up. So one is by Mr. Rakesh Saini, who is wanting to know, what does artificial recharge to groundwater mean? Can you help explaining it a bit?
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, usually there is some sort of recharging, or there is recharging happening naturally with rainwater. But here, artificial recharging means you enhance that by directly sending to the groundwater table through a well or through some sort of structure. You can have a borehole-like structure, or you can have a existing well or disused well to send water to the groundwater table.
Okay. Miss Mansi Tilak, she's asking about the role. What role does rainwater management play on a community level?
Community, yes. Community, there, and household level, you can collect water for your household needs, for the drinking, as well as the other household needs, as well as gardening needs. At community level, you can collect the runoff water from that community and use it for increasing the groundwater table in that area, as well as for crops in that village, and also to I think especially in India, there are some examples where uh, uh, rivers are brought back to life through rainwater harvesting, through having runoff water collection ponds or lakes or dams. In that aspect, you can, by the community can use different technologies of rainwater.
Mr. Kishore is wanting to know, what is the cost involved in establishing a rainwater harvesting system?
What is the cost?
Yeah, cost.
Yeah, cost will depend on the size, type of the system. So you can have just very simple system. If you are for a roof water harvesting, you have already, maybe you have gutters in your house, and you just simply connect the gutters to a barrel. So it will be just a cost of barrel in that case. But if it's tank of different material, ferrocement tank or plastic tank, the size of the tank will decide on the cost. Or it could be just fixing your gutters or roof water into a well, which is very low cost. So it depends on the type of system as well as the size of the system.
Mr. Bansal, Malay Bansal, we have startup towards water conservation. We are working on activated charcoal as filtration media to clean contaminated water. Is there any better filtration media than activated charcoal? We are making dual V-wire filters for horizontal filtration.
Yeah, activated carbon is actually very good. Here, especially for roof water harvesting system, the filter that should be placed, if it's placed in between the roof or what collects catchment and the tank, then you should not used a very complicated filter. You should use a very simple filter because you need to collect much water as possible to be stored into a tank. But you can use activated carbon and other different systems from the water that you are drawing out from. So those you can use different filter materials.
How can a common man participate in water conservation drives by government?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So basically, I think Mr. Vishal Yadav is wanting to know how can an individual or common man can participate in the ongoing campaigns which are there from the government side as far as water conservation is concerned. So maybe just a motivation from your side.
Yeah, I think basically is to first to practice yourself. So have a rainwater harvesting system in your own home initially, and then also promote it within your neighbors, and also with your work in your workplace, and also in public buildings where you're planning. If you are uh, involved in planning those buildings, you can incorporate those into the building. Few years ago, when I was promoting rainwater harvesting, one participant asked me, "Do I do rainwater harvesting?" At that stage, I did. Then immediately after going home, I installed a rainwater harvest system, and I now has the experience of that. So I think we had to do it at home first, and then promote it in the community as well.
Soham Pranayam. My apologies if I'm taking your name wrong. What type of filters are used in artificial recharge of borewell?
Artificial recharge of borewells, we don't have much experience here in Sri Lanka, but I think in India there are some examples. I think basically it's just a sediment filter and some gravel filters to prevent any sedimentation going into the borewell. I mean, yeah, basic filters like that.
What is the cost? This has been taken. What are the alternate usage of water procured from rainwater harvesting system? By Mr. Abhishek Kumar.
There is no alternate because rainwater is water. So everything you use water for, you can use rainwater. Drinking, cooking, gardening, car washing, crops. Don't think rainwater is something different. Rainwater is water. That is the basic water.
Right. Mr. Umang is wanting to know, do you think harvesting rainwater is the most reliable source and method for water conservation? Umang Nayal.
Yeah, it depends. Reliability depends on your system and your rainfall. If you have rainwater harvest, yes. If you have a rainwater system, it depends on the rainfall pattern as well. So if you have a continuous rain throughout the year, then you can have a rainwater system which is you can daily use reliably. But if you have a different rainwater pattern, like you have a short periods of high intense rainfall and long periods of drought, then you need to collect that short rainfall period with a storage. So storage is the main cost, especially for roof water harvesting. So then it becomes not very cost effective. So then you need to collect in different ways, like storing in the ground by recharging the ground, or in large ponds and things like that. So it can be reliable. It depends on the design of your rainwater harvesting system.
Okay. And as of now, this is the only question I have. What will be the approach for educating people with the concept of rainwater harvesting? This is the question by Mr. Siddharth Gautam.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, our approach has been mostly to promote through children. We have been having, as I said, in schools we are installing rainwater systems, and also we have quizzes with the children, we have competitions with the children, we have drama on rainwater harvesting, we have um, picture drawings with rainwater harvesting. So that is and also at higher levels as well, at local government officers. We have trained many government officers as well as other organization officers on the concept and technology of rainwater harvesting. Then you have to also train the installers, like masons and plumbers who are doing the installation. They are also important part of this system. So, and then the general public, architects, professionals on how to plan and design rainwater harvest system are important part of this link for promoting rainwater harvesting.
So thank you, ma'am. As of now, I've received these questions, and in case there is any other query, you may please write or can also share it. All those who are watching us live can share it on Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'll be more than happy to take the queries forward. We're honored to have Dr. Tanuja with us, who's not only shared her experience working in Sri Lanka, but she has also shown the way rainwater is being captured, harvested all across the world, all across the globe, and how it is being utilized for various purposes. So any other query, we are here and we'll be more than happy to take up. And if not, I'll take the program forward and now invite Sunil ji to maybe share his vote of thanks to Dr. Tanuja, who took out time for us and been our speaker today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anmol.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a very happy Indian Air Force Day. It's my proud privilege to confer a vote of thanks on this special day of Water Tech Talk, when the lecture on rainwater harvesting system around the world is delivered by none other than one of the most famous and talented personality in this field, Dr. Tanuja Ariyananda. She is Chief Executive Officer of Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum. It has been a very fascinating and engaging talk on rainwater harvesting system. I hope you all must have enjoyed this session of Water Tech Talk, as well as experiences shared by the speaker. It is for the information of all of you that nowadays viewership of Water Tech Talk series is increasing day by day, with love from fraternity working in water sector. As already elaborated by Mission Director Sir, our today's guest speaker, Dr. Tanuja, is a hydrobiologist with a PhD in environmental science from University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka, and MSc in aquatic resource management from King's College, London. She had been past president of International Rainwater Catchment System Association from 2008 to 2012. She has a vast experience on rainwater harvesting system. The valuable thought which she has expressed about rainwater harvesting system around the world will no doubt enhance our knowledge in this field. We could come to know about a rainwater harvesting system under the car parking in Mexico. In Korea and Japan, stadium roofs are used for rainwater collection. Though rainfall in Australia is less than half of India, but 26% of Australian households use rainwater. In Germany, rainwater harvesting system has been systematically commercialized. There is a two water system in January. These all the information we could get today. We are really lucky enough to get the knowledge on rainwater harvesting system from such an experienced scholar. We are truly enriched by your presentation, ma'am. On behalf of National Water Mission, I extend a hearty thanks to all of you for sparing your valuable time out of your busy schedule for joining this session of Water Tech Talk on virtual platform, and had a patient hearing to our speaker to make this event wonderful and successful. As everybody know that without a disciplined and engaging audience, no program can be made successful. And you all had been always a very supportive audience. I also convey my sincere thanks to team Water Digest, which is running this show successfully without any technical glitch, and the team National Water Mission for giving their wholeheartedly support in organizing this Water Tech Talk. Thanks to all of you again, including attendees, for making this Water Tech Talk a resounding success. For info of all, I want to convey that National Water Mission is organizing Water Tech Talk on second Friday of every month, and Water Talk on third Friday of every month, and Water Biz Talk, a talk in water business on fourth Friday of every month. National Water Mission requests everybody present here to participate in these talks and share the knowledge of distinguished speakers in the field of water. See you all in coming episode of Water Talk to be held on 15th of October 2021. Till then, goodbye, take care. Thanks everyone again, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunilji, and thank you, Dr. Tanuja, for joining us today. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this Water Talk and Tech Talk series. Thank you, Shok sir, because I understand sir is on travel and still he could take out some time and is present for his opening address. And like always, under his motivation, we are happy to take this program forward. So thank you, everyone. And like Sunilji mentioned, we look forward to hosting all of you on 15th of October, where we will be seeing speaker, a very nice speaker. We have all heard of Pani Foundation, so let's hear from them their own story. All these questions, and we have tried taking up all the queries, and still if we have missed any, all these FAQs, they do find their place on the website of National Water Mission. So still, if there is anything, you can write to us at Water Digest, info@thewaterdigest.com, and also you can write to National Water Mission. Sunil sir, if you can share the ID where the audience can write to you. National Water Mission. Sorry, sir, can you please unmute yourself?
That email ID of JSSCTR.
Yes.
That actually timing, I don't remember that email ID. There's a email ID. You can write to me directly.
Okay, so you can always get the information on National Water Mission's website, or you can reach out to us at Water Digest, and we'll be more than happy to take your queries forward. We'll be more than happy to take it forward to the respective speakers and the concerned experts. Till then, take care and see you all on 15th of October. Thank you.
Thank you very much.